Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin to 40K. I mean, it's like rising $1,000 every 2 days. I don't think it can keep that forever, but there could be a pop-off top thing and it rising to 40K. Now, usually I would say that's easily a sign for the altcoin bull run. Not sure because of the whole XRP case if that's true right now. It seems to be affecting all the coins, but I do think that Bitcoin will pop up obviously, but I think Ethereum will pop off. Hopefully Ken will pop off, but it's really, really far down there. And people may not realize that Ken actually has a no action letter from the SEC. EOS may pop off as well because they have a no action letter. Litecoin, I think because of PayPal, everyone assumes it's kind of like safe, so it actually might pop off. But about Bitcoin itself, we have another piece of news, a huge investment fund, BlackRock. It's like BlackRock, Fidelity, Vanguard. I think there's like one other that's like majority of savings and retirement in the United States. That's trillions of dollars. And BlackRock is obviously wanting to really get into cryptocurrency. What I mean, like by they really want to get into cryptocurrencies, they really want to get into Bitcoin at this point. So BlackRock is seeking a VP blockchain lead to drive demand for firms' crypto offerings. So they obviously have crypto products. I think BlackRock is signaling pretty clearly that they actually want to have crypto assets themselves. I don't know if they're legally allowed to do that right now because of the regulations. I think Bitcoin's very, very close. I do think like when the ETF comes through, which I think will actually be this year because Jay Clayton's gone. I think when that actually comes through this year, like these big funds will actually pour in, and that could actually drive up the price to 40,000 or even 100,000 because there's just so much money coming in from those funds. I mean, I don't think most people realize how much there is in retirement and pension funds. Fidelity holds like 7 trillion themselves. BlackRock probably holds a similar number. And even 1% of that would like just make Bitcoin go through the roof. So if you don't have Bitcoin right now, you might want to buy some Bitcoin or reallocate some alts into Bitcoin just to be safe because Bitcoin has that regulatory clarity and other cryptos do not. And it would only maybe be 4x to 100,000, but 400% in a year is a lot of money, guys. I mean, 400% that's very liquid and that you can actually withdraw. That's a lot of money. I mean, think about your bank's interest account. How many years would it take you to get 400% return? That's like 1 year. I mean, that could definitely happen, possibly even more. Some analysts are saying 300 and 400,000. Now, I think a pop up to 40,000 could actually be fairly quick. We could actually have it by the end of January, end of February, depending how things go. I actually do think altcoins are actually going to flow back into Bitcoin a little bit at least, and the dominance is going to increase because people just aren't sure about altcoins. Most of them do not have non-action letters. I mean, like XRP is obviously in trouble, but that lawsuit actually affects everyone else as well. I know Charles Hoskinson says like ADA is not affected, but truth be told, he doesn't really know. He can actually justify all that he wants, but if he holds a lot of ADA, that could actually raise trouble too. I want ADA to be completely free and develop and rise a lot up in price. But the truth is, no one really, really knows who the SEC is going after next, especially if the founders hold a lot of coins themselves, because that really does seem to be what the SEC is actually judging on. There's a lot of other parameters as well. They just went over after XRP because it's the biggest ones besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, which they've already said are which they've already actually said are non-securities. So we don't really know about the rest of everything else. So I do think that Bitcoin is going to go past 40K in the next couple of months. And I do think that, and I also think that it could have a possibility of going past 100K within 6 months to a year because of things like this, like BlackRock seeking VP blockchain lead. They're really, really serious about this. And I think as soon as like that ETF comes, or as soon as like retirement and pensions are allowed to actually invest in Bitcoin, I think they're actually going to invest. And if you actually read this from Cointelegraph, it says like as Bitcoin nears 26K, it's already at 27 by the way. BTC may break 40K in the next impulse wave, and that's very, very possible because remember, we doubled very quickly from 13 to 26 within about 2 months, honestly. I think towards the end of October, we were still around that 13, 14K mark, and now we're at 26, 27. And who knows? We could double again, in 2 or 3 more months. By the end of February, March, we could be at 52K. We just don't really know. But this time, I'm not really sure, if the alts will pop off right after that because of these lawsuits and because of these uncertainties. Bitcoin is certain. Ethereum is fairly certain. But you know, like Litecoin might be certain too. So like if you really, really want to invest in alts and you know you just don't want to take that much risk, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, you got two altcoins and Bitcoin and maybe some EOS. I mean, I'm gonna keep my alts, but I'm willing to take that risk. Um, but you know, it would be good if you actually allocated a little bit more into Bitcoin right now because that's the more sure thing, and you don't really know how the lawsuit's going to turn out. If it drags out for 2 years, a lot of alts may not actually catch the run. So allocating some of your money into Bitcoin is definitely a good idea right now because it's the surefire thing. And even though the ROI may not be as eventually as high as the altcoins, it's just, you know, I would take a sure 400% over a, you know, maybe sometime later, you know, like 1000%. That's just the way I would play it because you can always allocate that Bitcoin back into altcoins after you've already made some money and cashed out. And that's really the way I kind of see it. Because if you really look at it right now, Bitcoin and Ethereum are kind of like breaking. Well, Bitcoin's already breaking the all-time high. Ethereum's at like, you know, over $700 now. So they are actually rising, and the rest of the alts just aren't, you know, keeping up. Whether XRP, where you're losing like, you know, 50% over the last 7 days, whereas Bitcoin's gaining 13, Ethereum's gaining 10, or the rest of the coins, which are like some negative, some positive. You know, like it's just safer to go with BTC and ETH right now, and maybe like LTC as well, because those I think people actually assume are actually safe. But yes, I do believe Bitcoin is going to go over 40%. Is going to go over 40,000. I do believe that has a decent chance of going over 100,000. I originally said it was like 50 to 60,000 by the end of next year, but I'm now like I'm going to change that to over 100,000 by the end of next year. And the reason being is like I see all these funds being really bullish on Bitcoin. And I see a lot of alt value actually bleeding back into Bitcoin because of the regulatory uncertainty. So I would actually weight more of my portfolio towards Bitcoin, Ethereum. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.